UFC 299 is this weekend, and the card is absolutely stacked. The prelims as well. These are my picks and predictions. Starting off with the prelims, first fight, Pedro Munhoz versus Kyler Phillips. Pedro looked decent in his last fight. He has been, up and down in his last few, but Pedro fights a little scared, and he tries to win rounds and push it to a decision. And Kyler Phillips, that will not work against. Kyler is very tactical and knows what to do to win those rounds. He has actually beaten some pretty good guys. He's beaten Song Yadong. Kyler is a very tactical guy. I'm going to go with Kyler here. Next, we got Mateusz Gamrot versus Rafael Dos Santos. And Gamrot has been on an absolute tear. He is very well-rounded. He could stand and bang while also he's very good at getting the takedowns and getting control time. Rafael Dos Santos is also very skilled, but his game is just a little inconsistent at times, and I don't think that's going to work against Gamrot. I'm going with Gamrot here. Next, we got Macy Barber versus Caitlin Chukagian. And Macy Barber put on an absolute performance in her last fight. She has climbed her way up the rankings since losing to Alexa Grasso in 2021. Caitlin has not fought in over a year. I'm going to go with Macy Barber here. Our main event for the prelims, we got Curtis Blades versus Jelton Almeida. And Jelton put on an absolute performance in his last fight, absolutely dominating Derek Lewis on the ground. Jelton is very good at getting the heavyweights down on the ground, wearing them out, and grappling them to a win. But Curtis Blades is going to be by far his hardest obstacle. Curtis Blades has a gas tank on him. He can get those takedowns as well, while also being able to deliver a knockout blow at any moment in the fight. Jelton, he uses his weight and body placement, but I think Curtis Blades could come out here and really shock Jelton and get this win. Now we got our main card of the 299 first fight, Song Yadong versus Petr Yan. Song Yadong has, been very explosive. He hasn't really beaten anyone in the top rankings yet. The highest person he's faced in the rankings was Corey Sandhagen, and he ended up losing that fight. He's not fought anyone really in the top 5 or maybe even top 10 since. Petr Yan has, had quite a few losses recently, but they were all pretty close. He stayed in it till the end. And Petr Yan's skill is phenomenal. This man could do it all. I think he's a little underappreciated now that he has had those losses. I think his skill and his experience fighting these top guys is going to show against Song Yadong, and he's going to get the win. Next, we got Gilbert Burns versus Jack Della Maddalena. Jack Della has really climbed his way up in the UFC. People love this guy. He's been absolutely dominating, but his biggest obstacle was Kevin Holland, and it was a controversial decision. I think Gilbert Burns is going to be really hard for him since Gilbert has fought top elite guys in the UFC for a very long time now. And he fought Hamzat, and it was a very close fight, to be honest. One of the closest fights that he has been in. Gilbert Burns is really elite. His last fight, he did not look good at all, but I think he's going to bounce back. Jack has not fought someone of this caliber yet. I'm going with Gilbert Burns here. Next, we got Kevin Holland versus MVP. Michael Venom Page makes his debut into the UFC. People have been awaiting this. People have been wanting this. These guys are very similar builds and style, but Michael Venom Page has not fought anyone to the caliber that Kevin Holland has. Kevin Holland takes so many fights per year. He just continues to fight. And this man's an absolute warrior. He's fought some serious threats, And I think his knowledge and UFC experience is going to be a little too much for MVP. Next, we got Dustin Poirier versus Benoit St. Denis. And I think Dustin kind of made a dumb decision here, fighting a guy 8 spots back in the rankings. I know Dustin's an absolute savage, but he's coming off of a brutal KO from Justin Gaethje, and now he's taking on Benoit, who is on a 5-fight win streak, all by finish. He's very well rounded. He can get the KO. He can get the submission. This guy's an absolute beast, and he called out for a top guy, and Dustin Poirier took that. I think he is going to regret this decision a little bit. I'm taking Benoit. Next, we got our main event: Sean O'Malley versus Marlon Chito Vera 2. Chito won the first fight, but O'Malley was injured, hobbling around in the fight. O'Malley is a more skilled fighter, and no discredit to Chito. Chito is very skilled as well, but O'Malley has really grown to be elite, proving that, beating some of these top guys, winning the championship, something Chito has not been able to do. I think Sean, he's an absolute sniper. He's only had one decision since 2020. The rest are knockouts. He's an absolute sniper. I think O'Malley's going to show everyone, hey, I'm going to hold on to this belt for a while. He's going to take out Chito. He's going to take out Merab, and then he's just going to keep clearing through the division.